really, you know, one of the intentions for tonight was to talk about how do we use technology and film to inspire more people, and how can we share inspiration and love through film and through technology. Certainly, this is, you know, just one solution, but really, you know, I'd love all of your thoughts on that, and you know, just from each creating an inspiring piece of content, you know, really what do you really hope for that piece of content, and how can we use technology to get more of these messages out there?
Not all at once. I'm shy. So, I think ultimately, though, I think we just all want to be able to tell a story that has meaning to others, that I think is going to affect others, you know, and that's kind of the way it was with Change for Dollar. I'm sure that's the way that it was with you. And I don't claim to be like the most spiritual person. I don't claim to be even a great director or anything. I just like certain stories and I want to tell them. But, you know, I don't know. I think the world is full of negativity. And so if we can create something that has a positive message and, you know, and get that out to the masses, then I'm happy. I don't know.
I am too.
Your message, I mean, your question was very like, I don't know what you want, but yeah.
No, I want to know what you guys each, you know, kind of think about the space, because I've been reflecting a lot on like the convergence of technology, film, and like the message, like the, you know, the peace, the sacrifice, and the paying it forward, like so, you know, how, like I feel like we're just starting to really use what's out there to be able to share messages in a bigger way. Like, what are you seeing in the space that you really like, that you feel like, you know, is working, or that you want to see?
Well, we were talking with Joe about this just downstairs, how the technology today, even the last 10 years, kind of has put the power of filmmaking, any story you want to tell within reason. I bet you could probably tell it with some work. But Joe made a very good comment. He's like, the only thing that's really not democratized is the distribution. That's still like the last bastion of power, I think, that the studios have, and rightly so, or not rightly so. But this already starts to chip away at that and allow us to get our message into people's bloodstream, whether they want it or not. No, I'm kidding. That was the wrong thing to say. These types of things are, I don't know, they give us more tools to go in our toolbox. It's still our responsibility to tell good stories. But I don't know how we came onto that subject, but we were talking about, I went to Israel and I spent some time in Egypt. This was quite a few years ago, and how what blew me away when I was there is not only was it a lot more peaceful than I thought, but people who had very, very little money, like a mud hut, still had a satellite on top of their little mud hut. Like it blew my mind how influential this tiny town of LA, of 15,000 real filmmakers who are actually doing it. What you create goes out across the world, and it is consumed by so many people. Poland. You got a superstar here in Poland. So I don't know if you can be a content police, or if that's even our calling to go try to shut down all the bad stuff. I know that it's a lot better to create good content and to try to use that as a antidote to the problem, as opposed to like protesting. I mean, I guess that can work too, but and more platforms, more options, more tools in our toolbox to be able to get good stories out, like the better. For me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's, I think, where I see it going, this is, in essence, trying to give us some freedom and some ability to not just have to go in a one-dimensional, either it goes to a studio or it goes to Netflix or you got nothing.
But go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, one of the things that drives me to create film and content like this is I may be in bed reading a book and come across an amazing passage where it just sets everything perfect for the world. And you get this incredible feeling of joy in your heart where you think everyone's going to be taken care of, and it's just simply, I want to share that with other people. So I think short film is an incredible vehicle for modern parables, because you could take teachings from books and stuff, wherever you pick it up, and put it into a medium that people who would never pick up a spiritual book, would be turned off by the concept of even doing it, will actually be able to get to experience the teachings in a medium that they're very comfortable with. So I think there's an incredible opportunity, because if you really want to change the world, you have to change the way the world thinks. And I think all this stuff enables all of us to have the tools to be able to do that. So it's incredibly important. We just now need the content to put through the portals.
I agree. I think it's so funny too, is, you know, like a few years ago, bless you, you know, short films were like, oh no, you know, there's no money in short films, you can't do a short film, you know, nobody wants a short film. And now it's completely, I think, turned around where, you know, everybody's on YouTube, everybody's watching, you know, all these little viral videos and stuff going on. And I had somebody say the other day that they didn't think they'd ever seen a short film. And I was like, have you watched the YouTube video? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, you've seen a short film. Because, I mean, you know, now granted it wasn't, you know, the Jedi Cats or anything, but, you know, I think that people are so much more in tune to, you know, like their capacity to sit for 5 or 10 minutes at a time is so much, you know, like that's what you're going to get. It's going to be a whole lot easier to get 2 million people to watch a 10-minute film than it would be to get 2 million people to watch a 2-hour film. You know, there's just, it's not going to happen, you know, without a studio.
I think the internet is sort of like the biggest sort of like catalyst to bring shorts back.
Absolutely.
Into consciousness. I mean, when you really think about it, it's exactly what you said.
And there's money in it. I mean,
and there is money in it.
Not a lot, but you can recoup. If you don't spend a lot on your film, you can recoup the money that you put into it.
And there's so many more different avenues in order for you to distribute now. And I think what's interesting, the way I kind of view it is, it's a little bit of a wave, you know. And I think, you know, when we started Dot Studios, I used to pitch this all the time. It's like there's a limited sort of like time span that we have, where it started off with viral videos, where you got, you know, the 30-second to 2-minute to 3-minute viral videos. And as everything gets a little bit more connected, and your iPhone gets connected to your television, and Apple launches iTV, you know, the longer format is going to, you know, become a little bit more, you know, digestible for people. And that's sort of like the window that we have as independents to sort of get in there, because once it transforms itself to monetizable long-form content again, then it's the studios that are going to capitalize on that once again. But there's this moment right now where, you know, we got in with cat, you know, chasing dog chasing cat videos, whatever, you know, but sort of like that's the opening that lets us sort of like tell these stories. And I think we should be taking advantage of that as much as we can. And I think what's great about something like, you know, GiftPlayLove and Synergy TV is that it takes people that are looking at the verticals, you know, like Kate, because when we first started Dot Studios, we tried to pitch this directly to filmmakers. And no offense, I mean, I started off as a filmmaker too. Filmmakers want to make movies and they want to tell stories. They don't want to be coding CSS and HTML and thinking about, you know, that's the last thing that they would, you know, it's literally, I want to build it and they will come model, you know, and as it should be, as storytellers should be. But it takes people like Kate to kind of look at the opportunity and go, okay, wait a minute, nobody's tapping into, you know, mindful, conscious content in a way that I want to be, and there's an opportunity for me to make a difference right now and take advantage of this moment in time to take, you know, all these people to tell their stories. So I think it takes everybody to make it happen.
Yeah, it does. It's that synergy, you know, because I love that word. And it is. I mean, I saw something recently. It said, like, there's this big Hollywood conference coming up, and it said for the blockbuster, for, you know, what it is it's a combination of creative genius, which is the filmmakers here tonight, technology genius, which is Dot Studios and Joe, and marketing genius, which, you know, that's my background, and that's all I've wanted to do is promote stuff I believe in, because when I get behind something, anyone that knows me knows I will do whatever it takes to make sure the world knows about it. And I love it. And distribution too, like distribution is this beautiful mechanism now to get meaningful stories out to the masses, and we have to understand it, and we have to take advantage of what's out there. But it's the synergy of all of it. Like, you can't just have great distribution with like crappy content, and, you know, it really has to be that work together